Bradford City continue their 2024-25 league campaign with a trip to pre-season promotion favourites at Notts County, and in today's video you're going to find out how both teams have got on so far this season, what my starting 11 would be if I was Graham Alexander. Now obviously Bradford City signed ADEN BALDWIN from Notts County in the summer, and Notts County signed Matty Platt from Bradford City in the summer, so it's a bit of an ADEN BALDWIN versus Matty Platt derby, and let's find out who's going to get on top. Get on top? Come out on top. Get in on top. No, we definitely don't want to get on top. I'm sure there's going to be some like 8-year-old watching this video has no idea the context of that. Whatever you do, definitely don't ask your parents. Let's get into the match preview then, as that is what we are here to do. So my team Bradford City, we currently sit 10th in the table. After 19 matches, we've got 7 wins, 7 draws and 5 defeats, scoring 24 goals and conceding 19, which leaves us on a positive 5 goal difference and at 28 points. Our last couple of matches then have been a win, a draw, a draw, a draw and a win. Them last couple of matches have then been a 1-0 win at home at 2 at Swindon Town. A very comfortable win in all honesty. It was a really bad game of football, really poor quality, but we got the job done. Callum Kavanagh with his first league goal of the season, and Swindon had absolutely no forward threat. They didn't even have a single shot on target. It certainly didn't feel like they had 3 shots in the match, but that was very nice for us to get our first league win in 8 matches. We also had a 3-2 win away at Stockport County in the EFL Trophy round of 32. We know we've drawn Aston Villa under 21s in the next round, but we don't know where that game's going to be played yet. But in terms of this game, obviously 2-0 up inside 15 minutes, then 2 individual errors saw Stockport get back into the game, but Callum Kavanagh once again on the score sheet to wrap up all 3 points, but wrap up the win for Bradford City. We went away to Stockport, had 10 shots on target. Their keeper made 3 fantastic one-on-one saves as well, and a match that we probably did just about deserve to win. We also had a 1-1 draw away at Crewe Alexandra. Alex Patson scoring the equaliser and then getting sent off 2 minutes later. To this game will be his second of 3, which he will be suspended for. He also misses Boxing Day against Port Vale, so that's really disappointing. Patson would have been massive for us in a game like this, but we're going to have to find a way of winning without him. Obviously that was a pretty good point, all things considered, especially without Andy Cook. We also had a 1-1 draw at home to Barrow AFC, one of the worst football matches you will ever watch. Somehow it was still better though than Saturday's clash against Swindon, an absolutely terrible game of football. Andy Cook once again rescuing a point for Bradford City, and it definitely didn't feel like there was 15 shots in that match. And we also had a 1-0 defeat away at Morecambe in the FA Cup at second round. Neil Byrne getting sent off, and then 4 minutes later the man who he shoved into the advertising boards would go on and score the winner. Now Neil Byrne has served all 3 league matches in terms of his suspension, so he will be back available for selection for this game, but I personally think he'd even struggle to get on the bench at this moment in time. Compared though to Notts County, they sit 1 place below us in 11th at this moment in time. After 19 matches, they've got 7 wins, 7 draws and 5 defeats, scoring 25 goals but also conceding at 21, which leaves us on a positive 4 goal difference and at 28 points. Their last couple of matches then have been a loss, a draw, a loss and a draw. In terms of ADEN BALDWIN, before we get into the last couple of fixtures, every time I go onto Notts County Talk and we talk all things League 2 or Notts County, Bradford City, whatever we're talking about, a lot of the questions are, how's ADEN BALDWIN getting on at Bradford City? He played really well in the first couple of matches, and then I think he got a hamstring problem in like the 4th game of the season, and he's only recently come back into contention over the last 2 or 3 weeks, so it's great to see him back. I think he'll probably play in this one. I'm excited to see how he does get on. Notts County fans, let me know down below, how has Matty Platt got on at your club so far? Because from what I've seen on social media, you seem to quite like him. I mean, I did say in the summer that Matty Platt was one of the best, if not the best, centre-halves in the league last season, and I think he's certainly proven that at Notts County. This result certainly wouldn't do so. I'm 99% sure he did play in this game. Yeah, he played in the middle of a back 3, but a 3-0 loss away at Salford City. This is the result that has caused a lot of the Notts County fans to turn on manager Stuart Maynard, and I think with the squad they've got, they should be doing a lot better than 11th at this moment in time. But 28 shots in the match. Salford clearly the more clinical of the 2 sides. Cole Stockton bagging a brace in that one, and I'm sure a really disappointing result for the travelling side. They also had a 3-2 defeat away at Walsall. Walsall are a good side, and I think this result sent them top of the table. Walsall only had 24% of possession, but it goes to show you can dominate the ball all you want, but it's about getting results at the end of the day. The first half, not really a lot happened. All 5 goals came in the second period, but a match with 36 shots must have surely been an entertaining one. They also had a 4-3 defeat away at Peterborough United in the FA Cup at second round. I'm pretty sure Notts County were doing quite well in this game. Then they made a ridiculous amount of changes and everyone was like, what's going on there? I'm pretty sure they were 2-1 up at the time. They made the changes. They ended up conceding 3 goals. They got one back in the 96th minute, but look at the stats. Peterborough definitely deserved to go through in there. Notts County scored every single one of their shots on target. They also had a 0-0 draw at home at 2 at Newport County. Again, 26 shots, only 7 on target, but to have 26 shots and not score a single goal, it clearly goes to show where their problems have been so far this season. Without Langstaff, without Jones for a lot of this season through injury, they really are struggling in front of goal. You think back to this fixture last season, it was Graham Alexander's second game in charge, I think, and obviously we were 4-0 down by half-time. It did end up finishing at 4-2, but we'll certainly be looking to wrong the rights of that day. And they also had a 2-0 defeat away at Crewe Alexandra. I saw the penalty decision. I'm pretty sure Matty Platt gave the penalty away, but never in a million years was it a foul. Again, 17 shots, only the 3 on target, dominating possession, but losing football matches. It's so clear to see where the problem has been so far this season for Notts County, and defensively has certainly been much more of our stronger point than offensively. We struggled to keep a lot of clean sheets, but we very rarely concede more than 1 goal. Away from home though, our form has been pretty poor so far this season. It's at home where we've been flying, which is very strange as a Bradford City fan. Normally, it's the other way around. Before we do go any further though with today's video, don't forget to drop a like on there for me and subscribe to the channel as well if you are new. Can we try and hit 50 likes on today's video? That'd be massively appreciated. And don't forget to get your thoughts in down in the comment section down below. What would your starting 11 be and what is your score prediction for this match? I'm personally going to go with a 2-2 draw. Now in terms of my formation for this game, I will go with the 3-4-2-1. I'm pretty sure this is the formation that Notts County will play, so you match them up with the box in midfield and see how we get on with that. So in goal, I would go with Sam Walker. I think against Swindon, he didn't really have much to do, in honesty. He had 1 free kick, which was a cross that he tipped over the crossbar, and that was about it. Really did not have anything to do, so I can't really comment on him apart from the fact that he has been pretty poor for the large part this season. I really do believe that the goalkeeper department is a position that we majorly do need to improve in the January transfer window. We definitely need to get in probably a number 1, in all honesty. That's just my personal opinion. I would bring in a new number 1, but I think that's a bit of a hard thing to do in mid-season. In terms of my back 3 then, at right centre-back, I would go with ADEN Baldwin. I know in the first half against Swindon he was pretty poor, a few stray passes, but I think that's kind of been his only bad 45 minutes so far this season. On the whole, I've been very impressed with him, and I think he's going to have a point to prove against his former side, where their fans don't have the best memories of ADEN Baldwin, in all honesty. I know he's got a couple of goals in the National League playoff semi-finals against Boreham Wood, I believe, but especially in League 2, he really did struggle with his concentration, all that sort of stuff. So I hope he does prove a point and he is able to keep a clean sheet. In the middle, I would go with Paul Huntington. Now, if Notts County are going to start Alassana Jatta, Paul Huntington is absolutely massive for that. And you look at last season, we started Ash Taylor away at Notts County up against Macaulay Langstaff. No wonder we were 3-0 down by half-time. But Paul Huntington, from what I've seen of him so far, absolutely brilliant. Wins every single aerial duel. He's an absolute monster in the air. Organises the defence. And for me personally, has been an excellent addition so far. And with his contract set to expire in a couple of weeks, if he carries on playing like this, I certainly do expect him to get a longer-term contract. As my left centre-back, I would bring in Kieran Kelly. I've been calling for it over the last couple of weeks, and Jack Shepherd, from what I've seen of him, hasn't done enough to really warrant staying in the side. I know that we obviously kept a clean sheet against Swindon, and that was massive for us because we've not done that many times so far this campaign, but I thought in the first half, Shepherd was pretty poor. He put in a good cross for Andy Cook, but that was about it. Second half, he was a bit better, won more of his aerial duels, but Kieran Kelly got an hour against Stockport County and looked much better than what I've seen of Jack Shepherd as of recently. I know Shepherd can be a very good player because we've seen it in his earlier Bradford City days, but I like to see Kieran Kelly come back into this side, a bit more experience and a bit more physicality as well. So I don't think we should go with experience and physicality over youth or kind of quality on the ball, if that does make sense. In terms of my midfield 4 then, at right wing back, I would go with Jay Ben. I think he should be fine for this game. Graham Alexander said that there was no real problem with him. Obviously came off at half-time against Swindon because he got about 4 or 5 whacks in the same position, but it's nothing to really worry about, and he should be fit for this game. But if you go Brad Halliday, I don't really mind it, in all honesty, and I think Brad Halliday might be the better shout when you're thinking away from home against Notts County, but I think we do need some players who are going to be good offensively, and I just hope Jay Ben can can get back to his best, because we've not seen his best for quite a while. In terms of my two holding midfielders then, at first I would go with the captain, Richie Small. I think he's going to be massive for us in a game away at Notts County. I know this is technically a mid-table clash, but you'd expect both sides to really push on in the second half of the season if they have a good January transfer window, and I think this could be a potential playoff 6-pointer. I know it's not that at the moment, but I think come the end of the season you might look back at this result and think that's where we drop points, or that's what got us in the playoffs. And I think Small's experience is going to be really important, so we'll partner him as well with Corey Evans. I know he had a scan on a calf potential problem that he came off with against Swindon, but he's come through that fine. I think he's back in full training either today or tomorrow, which is important. And even if you only get an hour 70 minutes out of him, I think we need to see him on that pitch, because he's got quality on the ball, he's got experience as well. And if he's having to mark someone like a Dan Crowley, with the fact he's played in at least a Championship or top end League One for the majority of his career, he should have that know-how alongside Small to be able to deal with somebody of the quality of Dan Crowley. And as my left wing back, I will go with Lewis Richards. I thought he had a really good game against Swindon. There wasn't many plays he really deserved above a 7 out of 10, but Lewis Richards certainly did, in my opinion. I thought he had a really solid game there, and I'm actually surprised that Tyreek Wright is back in full training as well. Now, he's still not going to be fit for this game. He might be available for the Port Vale clash potentially, but I thought we were looking at end of January, early February sort of time, unless his injuries either firstly not as bad as first feared, or I just completely misunderstood the time frame. I thought Wright was going to be out for well over another month or two, but he's back in full training and he'll probably be available for selection for our clash against Port Vale. But Lewis Richards, I still do believe, should stay in this side. In terms of my two at number 10s then, this one is probably the most controversial part of it, but hear me out. Firstly, I've gone with Anthony Sarsfield. Now, I know a lot of the time you will see Sarsfield play a bit deeper, but he has to start this game for me. His experience is going to be so important, his quality on the ball. Even if you only get 70, 75 minutes out of him, and then you bring on somebody like a Bobby Poynton potentially, I think Sarsfield has to start this game. We need experience in that midfield, and I think his quality on the ball as well. You could maybe start him alongside Small, but I'd personally really want to see him start in their more advanced positions, and we can finally see a bit of that quality that we know that he does hold. And as the other number 10 then, I will go with Jamie Walker, two very experienced players in there. Again, I said it, we need experience out this side. We need it in a game like this, away at Notts County, one of the toughest tests of the season. I would drop Callum Kavanagh for this game, and I know that might sound controversial with the fact he scored 3 in his last 2, but I don't think Kavanagh's performance has been amazing in them games either. Scoring a tap-in against Swindon, an open net basically, and then coming up to the Bradford City fans and putting your fingers in your ears, that's also not ever going to sit right with me as a Bradford City fan. If I'm paying towards your wages, I don't like that whatsoever. So he can sit on a bench for me. I don't care if he's scoring goals, your attitude's got to be right. And it might not have meant like cupping your ears to the Bradford City fans, but that's certainly what it looked like. And obviously I saw a few people in the comments of the vlog on Saturday saying the same thing. And I think Walker, with his experience, scoring this fixture last season, I think it's just a good match really. And as the striker, I would go with Andy Cook. It's very telling that Cook was quite poor against Swindon in my opinion. Kavanagh scored the winner, got us the 3 points, and I'd still start Andy Cook, but I think Cook's attitude is right. You know, he's just a better player, isn't he? You know, his hold-up play, physicality. I do think he might struggle a little bit up against Matty Platt, because that's Platt's bread and butter. He always does really well against the physical strikers. It's the more nimble strikers that he does struggle against, but I think Cook's overall play will be important. Obviously, our top goal scorer, no longer the league's top goal scorer, that is Matty Stevens of AFC Wimbledon. And on the bench, for me, I would go with Colin Doyle, Brad Halliday, Jack Shepherd, Clark Adore. I think we might need him at some point with his kind of control of the game. You know, he never really gives the ball away. He doesn't really do much with it, but he keeps possession tidal, and I do think we might need him around 70 minutes or so, especially if we are winning. Also on the bench, I would have Bobby Poynton, Callum Kavanagh, and Ollie Sanderson. The players currently unavailable are Callum Johnson, Tyreek Wright, Alex Patterson, Joe Adams, and the players who miss out then through selection will be Zach Cady, Czech Diabate, Neil Byrne, Tyler Smith, Harry Ibbotson, and Viden Oliver. The January transfer window is fast approaching, but firstly we have to focus on this clash against Notts County. I will be there in the away, and so make sure to check out the main channel for the matchday vlog, probably around 9-10 PM on Saturday, something like that. Thank you all for watching. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you very soon for another one.